Welcome back, family. Welcome back to What's the Juice at the Juicy T 1111 Energy. I am truly grateful for each and every one of you. Okay, oh yeah, y'all. Last night, this is what I channeled. So you could be channeling something different as well, or just channeling. Period. But I did say, welcome back, family, collective, soul, tribe. Associate yourself however you like. Okay. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. We are going to start off with 3 introductory energy messages coming from the deck, okay? And then we are going to bring in our protection. So thank you for being here. Let's see. All right. So the first energetic message out is the glow up time, okay? Someone here is going through a transformation. You may even be stepping into a confident or confidence, but stepping into a confident time in your life, and you are definitely radiating, okay? That is the first energetic message out. Second one, please. Somebody here may be wanting you to know that something is not them. Um, it says it's not me, it's trauma, okay, triggering, projecting, or some sort of projection here, and inner wounds. So somebody may be wanting you to see that it's not them pertaining to something. And third energetic message, please, and thank you, Spirit. Healed and not hooked. Okay, there's freedom here, detachment, and clarity. All right, family. So before we go any further, let's tap in. I call upon the divine, my ancestors, angels, and my spiritual guides to stand with me and within me as I deliver these messages. No lower energy or energies may enter this space. Only what serves truth, healing, and inner standing is welcomed here. And so it is. Ashe. All right, family. So out out the gate, okay, out the gate. I feel like you've always been who you've been. You haven't changed, okay? But you had a lot of energies out here that probably, just couldn't stand the fact that you were who you were. And I feel like, I don't mean like from a status quo or anything. I just mean like, you're genuine, you're honest, you're authentic. You don't have nothing to lie. You don't have nothing to, you know, if you know what your energy is, family. If you did it, you did it. That's what I'm getting from you. Okay, if somebody came up and just asked you, well, I heard this or da 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 da, you're somebody that's gonna just flat out tell them yes or no, that is true or it is not. I feel like a lot of people, might have just thought I don't know what they thought, okay, but I feel like people didn't feel that you were somebody that would try to hide. You know how people, they will lie or try to hide something that they've done. I don't get that energy from you. If you did it, you did it. And if you didn't, you didn't. And that's just the way the energy is for you. Okay. I feel like a lot of your and this glow up doesn't just have to be with like blowing up, glow up, famous type energy. It has a lot to do with your transformation. I'm not saying that you were always perfect, but I am saying that once you realize whatever it was you were doing that was wrong or could have been wrong, and this is just growing up, right? You don't, when you're a child, you learn through experience, okay? Trial and error, right? So you ain't always been perfect. No one is. But you definitely know right from wrong, and you would rather practice right versus wrong. And I'm not saying you're a goody two shoot, but you already know. My grandmother used to tell me all the time, trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out. And that's kind of how you live, right? Your model is based off of that. So you've gone through a lot of transformations, okay? During this time, you have built a confidence here. And I feel like you built that confidence because you chose yourself when no one else would. And that brought out an inner radiance, okay? Some sort of inner radiance here. But I also feel like you have energies that are around you right now and they are in a dark area of their life. This could be family, friends, foes, take it how you know, right? But they want you to know it's really not them. It's not who they really are. They may have experienced some sort of trauma as a child, but they really just don't know how to, maybe speak to you about that, maybe let you know, okay. There could have been something that traumatized them and they just held that held that inward, and what that'll do, that'll eat you up, right? There could have been triggering conversations, triggering words spoken, triggering actions, okay. This person could have been projecting some of that trauma that they experienced towards you, onto you, right? And not saying that but when people get mad, what was that thing, and I don't know how it really goes, but somebody pisses somebody off at work, outside, grocery store or something, but then they come home and take it out on you type energy. That's what I'm getting from this, right? I feel like somebody here is starting to realize they got to work on their inner wounds, because it is, yeah, because you're healed, you're not hooked. And that's the difference, family. Okay, your energy is you are healed, you are not hooked. And that energy is like, it's giving me the energy that you can let go of things that, maybe no longer serve you, or you let go of things and with the hopes and faith that what does serve you, what is for you, will come in divine timing, because the divine is the divine provides all. I don't know what nobody thought, but the Most High God is your keeper. Okay, the Most High God is your keeper. Whether you believe that or not, I'm here to tell you, know it. Okay, that's an inner knowing, right? You always put the divine creator of all living things first. God is first. Okay, family, first and foremost. But I'm not just talking about an actual God like that. I'm talking about the energy of God, the energy within you and all around you, as above, so below. Okay. Also Spirit told me to mention this. Okay. This, I didn't do a lot yesterday except for critique the hell out of this book. And family, this, and I just like went through to, see what was going on. And this is the 12 laws of power, right? But it says here, every creature, every wait, inanimate object, every thought, feeling, and desire has its own unique vibration. Science has proven this in the physical world. The frequencies of solids is lower than the liquids and gases, right? And I then said, and I don't know, and maybe I was just sitting down channeling while I was reading things in this book. I then said, the energetic vibrations are in fact real. Now, what are the vibrations that you have felt? Were the vibrations of love and respect, or were they of the opposite? Now, ask yourself, is this why you feel the way that you currently feel about others, right? Because yes, energetic vibration is real. So if you're vibing high and you vibing with love, but everybody else is vibing low and vibing with something else, is that not a reality of whatever it is that you've experienced? Okay, I hope that didn't confuse you the way I asked that, but I mean, it's true. You are going to vibe off of the energies that you see or feel or are sent back in return. So even though we are all one, right? And you may have been reiterating that energy, right? Showing love, showing respect, right? Not being judgmental, not seeing people for their nationalities, backgrounds, and everything else. Has that been what you've been feeling back? Okay. So I went through this book and I read it and I kind of just highlighted some things because I feel like the book was written a little bit one-sided, right? Because it also goes on to say, you get back what you put out. That's not true, family. I have to definitely let you know that's not true, because many of you have put out a lot of positivity, but because of the stereotypes and the beliefs and the jacket that was placed on you, not within you, placed on you, yeah, I would have to say you have not been getting what you've been projecting. Okay, for some of you, not all of you. So that's why you're healed, but you're not hooked. You're not hooked on the lies, the manipulation, and the deceit, because you already know that's how people, do what they do to get back into your life, right? So right now you're in an energy where you're experiencing freedom and detachment because you are clear. Okay, you got a lot of clarity, and a lot of clarity has come through experience. Okay. I feel like a lot of clarity that you have experienced has come after a time of being gaslit, I feel like many of you, the veil has finally been lifted and you can see things for the truth. Not what people wanted you to see, but see the truth. You are finally seeing the truth. It wasn't that it was you doing anything wrong. It wasn't that you were doing anything extra right. You were just being you, but you weren't being accepted for being you. You instead, judgment was being passed on you. Okay. Yeah. Had people confused. That's confused. Look, confused as hell. These people didn't have any clarity. No, they didn't real. Ooh, spirit is talking. They are confused as hell. They had no clarity, no labels, emotional chaos. Exactly. Let me explain to you. See, when society has built things up to be where it's like, if you're not with this group, clicky. Okay, cliques. Cliques been around since I can remember, right? There was the in crowd, there was the group of, the popular, jocks in school. That's what they were called, jocks, back when I was growing up, right? You was the jocks. There were some jocks, right? You were either playing sports, but you had the jockey, the clicky cliques, at 11:11. The football players hung out with the cheerleaders, right? Those types of energies were around, right? You were either in the crowd or you weren't. You were either in or you weren't. Different groups, all the extremely intelligent, what we used to call them nerds, they hung together. Then you had your jocks and your cheerleaders stuff. They hung together. Then you had like the total outcast or the hard rock kids or whatever they would call themselves. Gothic, yes, gothic. Thank you, spirit. They hung together. But this is what I'm saying. Everybody had a clique. Everybody had a clique, but for some of y'all, your clique was everybody was made up at individually who they were. It wasn't like this person did something any kind of way that you did it or saw from your viewpoint. You just had a real genuine group of friends that were built off of authenticity. They didn't have to be a jock. They didn't have to be a cheerleader. They didn't have to be a part of the nerd group or the extremely intelligent or the gothics or the, you know what I'm saying, type energy at 12:12. So because you don't allow society to dictate where you are placed in it, it got people confused as hell, because a lot of people do be wanting that. They want to be like, yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't mean to do that voice, but people, they really get all kind of like extra when they feel like they're a part of the upper echelon. Yes, when and it happens all over the world, right? Where if you belong to a certain group, then you're bougie, they can say bougie, right? Or if you are acknowledged by this person or that person, it makes you feel some sort of kind of way, right? I feel like a lot of people didn't realize that it didn't matter who you were, as long as you were honest and truthful and authentic with yourself. That's all that mattered. And whoever you were around needed to hopefully be the same way. Many of y'all just have friends that y'all were just like that. The friends, you could have been a clique of people hanging together, but no one friend moved the other friend. Everybody had their own individual mindset, did what they wanted to do. You guys might have just all got together, hung out, and went out to, party and have fun. But outside of that, that's what it was. Your friends lived their own life, and it wasn't built on some popular crew, popular clique thing. This got folks confused. How did you survive? They confused as hell. They have no clarity pertaining to how you live versus how they live. A lot of people gotta have extra I don't want to say energies around them, but a lot of people adapt other people's character. They adopt it. They adapt to it. Have you ever seen somebody start talking like somebody else, and good and damn well they didn't talk like that before? Like a pop up an accent out of nowhere. Like my brother, one time I seen him turn from a regular guy into a hardcore New Yorker accent. Floored me. I think I was 12 years old, and he was trying to pick up the girl at McDonald's, and he literally was in the car a few minutes before that, and we're just having a regular conversation. When he pulled up to that mic and ordered his food, he turned New York. And I mean, he sounded like he was from New York, to the point where I looked over to make sure I was still in the car with the same person. Mm-hmm. Confused as hell. I sure was like, what did you do that for? He did all that to pull that chick. Changed his whole accent and everything up, y'all, to pull the chick, to talk to her. And I was thinking to myself, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Why aren't you just talking to her in your regular voice and just being who you're supposed to be? That was the first time I saw somebody do that. Okay, it was my older brother, the older brother I have that I didn't meet till I was 12. Okay, him. Okay, so I feel like a lot of people are kind of confused at how you don't have to switch up who the hell you are. You don't do the switcheroo. You who you are. Period. You're respectful, you're kind, and that is it. And anything in between, you're not switching up. You're not switching up the way you talk. You're not switching up the way you walk, you dress, none of that. You don't flip the script. That's not your energy at all. A lot of people are wondering and they're confused about how is it that you remained so solid, so grounded, so rooted in your authenticity. Because you already know fake ain't never going to get you nowhere. We had that saying growing up, ain't no future in your frontin'. I'm serious. People will either accept you for being real or not. It's just that simple. But some people can't live like that. They can't accept that. Okay? Let me get two more spirit and then we're going to move to a different deck. Two more. Let me get one for this glow up time. Ooh, and my thing. Dang, my nail, y'all. Not nail, but my little grippy thing keeps slipping. Because I cooked. Got some grease on it. Yes. Yeah, that hot cold. Hot and cold, mixed signals, pull and push, whiplash. See, a lot of people, oh, and I feel so sorry for her because, see, this is giving me that energy. Oh, I don't want to say this, but a lot of women and men, take it how it resonates, okay? They flip the script. Ooh, and I just saw that. Okay, I saw that script. For example, a couple goes out to dinner, and in front of everybody, they're the perfect couple. They're the perfect couple. People look at them and think, I wish I had that. You see how romantic they are with one another? You see this and that, but then when they get home, they like this. Now, out in public, they're like this, but then when they get home, they're like that. This hot and cold, mixed signals, a pull and a push, whiplash, got to take a double take at who you're dealing with type energy. This is how a lot of people live. Their whole households and stuff are made up of people really not being their authentic self. In public, they have on one mask, but when they get home, the mask changes. So a lot of people are sitting here looking at people like, oh, that's such a perfect couple. I wish I had that in my life. Not knowing behind the doors, behind closed curtains, it's not really going down like that. And a lot of people, and a lot of people are now recognizing you were never somebody that threw out a lot of mixed signals. You've always been who you were. Some people got to know you and some people didn't. Some people thought they knew you and many didn't. You've never switched up. I don't think you've ever switched up. And when people get to thinking about it, they're like, yeah, nah, they ain't never switched up. That's who they are. That's exactly who they are. Okay, family? At 1919. Let me get one more spirit. Yeah. It's like with this energy, you chose them, third party betrayal and replacement type energy. Someone's feeling like that. They feel like you chose someone over them, but nah, family, you really chose yourself, and then you asked the divine to bring all that is for you into your life. So that meant sometimes people had to be let go because of maybe what they did, the offenses, You know, you got people out here that offend people all the time, and you be like, look, I'm not going to put up with your disrespect or your offensive actions, your verbal abuse, your mental emotional abuse. That's abuse. I don't care if there ain't nobody putting their hands on you. If they're talking bad to you or down on you, or every time they come around, they don't have anything positive to say, nothing uplifting or inspiring. You know, mm-mm. Nah, you're not dealing with that. So a lot of people feel like you chose yourself over them, as you should. Then there's some people out here that are upset because they feel like you chose someone else over them. But then I feel like there's this energy here of, for those of you who are not in a friend, family, foe relationship, you just chose yourself. And for those of you who have moved on and either you have friends or you don't, for those of you who moved on to someone else over someone else, there was a reason for it. And the reason is that you are who you are and you've never switched up. But other people have. And that's what they fail to realize. A lot of people fail to realize that they have switched up to fit what it was that society wanted them to be, not who they were born to be. Message. You ain't never switched up. And that is what people are seeing now. You got a lot of exes out here. They gonna want to be coming back with the fake apologies. Many of you have dealt with that after being gaslit, after being love bombed. Okay, friends, family, foe. Take it how you know. Everybody could do the love bombing. You can get love bombed from your family, your friends, or your foes. Okay, ex-lovers. Okay, but those fake apologies, you lived through them. That's that hot and cold push and pull. Okay, that's that manipulative guilt trip. Somebody will try to come in and guilt trip you. You be looking like, shit, I know better. Because you've never switched up. You know exactly who you are. It's these energies that need to work on themselves and, you know, really change if they want to. Because family, once again, you already understand you're not here to change anybody. That's the beauty of life. You got choices at 222. 2225678. Okay, 222. You've got choices. A lot of people know that they have been love bombed and by everybody, but you come with sincere, genuine love. If you love somebody, you love them. And wait, you don't got to know anybody to love anybody. It's just the humanitarian thing. Many of you are humanitarians, and when I say a humanitarian, that means the human in you sees the human in someone else first. You're not looking for anything outside of this is another human being that should be respected or that should be, at the bare minimum, not looked over. You know, a lot of people look over other people all the time. And because of that, that's kind of like self-centered type energy. A lot of people, like I just had a conversation today and I described something to someone and they were like, oh, that's just someone being selfish and not being an empathetic energy. Now, see, being empathetic doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you can relate or you can, in order to survive in this world, you got to be able to put your put your foot in other people's shoe. And I don't mean like really step into what it is that they are going through, but at least try to understand it. That's where doctors and counselors and psychologists and all that come in, right? But do they really get other people and what they've gone through? Or are they just collecting a check just to hear some things? But see, a lot of people got to realize, empathy doesn't mean you're weak at all. It just means that you can, relate to the energies that people feel. Like simply by saying, well, what if it happened to you, right? That's the easiest way that you can be empathetic or feel what somebody else is feeling. Imagining what they're explaining happening to you. How would you feel? What would that trigger? And that's how you have lived. You've never love bombed anybody. Yeah, you love them, period. I ain't gotta know you to love you or to have love for you. Hell, that just means I don't want to see nothing bad happen to you, and if I'm able to help you, I'm gonna help you. And sometimes you don't even gotta ask me. I just may be moved to do something for you type energy. Okay, family. So a lot of these people right here, poor babies, look at them. They like, it ain't me, it's the trauma. Somebody here wants you to know it, that they're going through some things that maybe they never even told you about. Okay. Maybe some people here are feeling like you prefer someone else over them. Friend, family, foe. Take it how you know. Siblings, children could feel this way, okay? You may have children and one child or two children feel like you are more empathetic and sympathetic and understanding when it comes to one child over the other. And it's like, nah, you just know your children, some of y'all, for who that message is resonating with. And for others, you know what I'm saying? They're looking at it from the perspective of like, I had a conversation, okay? And I'm able to see myself in my daughters. One is the younger me, always bubbly, always, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm still that kind of energy. But then I'm also mature. So the other is like in a mature state. But the one that's in the mature state matured too fast, trying to be too much like their mother. Don't do that. Because, see, we're in total different age brackets. Like, I'm supposed to be this way right now. Because I've lived, I've learned, I've experienced things. You ain't supposed to be trying to act like you 50 nothing. You ain't 50 nothing. Type energy. So you got energies that kind of feel like, did you really love me? But of course I loved you. But see, there was certain things that you had to do. We all know, we got friends where, this friend is more emotional than that friend. Or this family member is more emotional than that family member. Or this family member or friend or foe is more outspoken than this one or that one. But it's like, how do you know what I'm saying? How are you able to know which one needs what? Right? And as light workers out here, or galactic beings at 2711, you got to be able to tap into the energies, because not all energy is the same, but we are all one. We have energies that are more emotional than others. We have energies that are more empathetic than others. Then we have energies that are not. They are not emotional. They are not empathetic. And those 9 times out of the 10 are the energies that are holding in some sort of trauma, and they haven't addressed it yet, nor do they know how. And it may be to no fault of their own, but they were never taught. And then once you grow, and I think it's after the age of 12 years old, if you haven't addressed any trauma, and you've experienced more trauma after that age, you pretty much are who you're going to be. A lot of people are really curious at the fact that, you ain't never switched up, but you can relate to everything. And that's just because you are still an galactic being experiencing a human experience. Message. Final message, spirit. Yeah, you ain't never switched up, and they don't know how. A lot of people are wondering, like, how you did not switch up and and turn into some, traumatized, bitter energy, because everybody knows that the truth should hurt. But let me just, I heard that loud as day, 2844, and the truth will also set you free. Okay. So somebody here is feeling like, yeah, the truth hurts. There's some things that they found out it probably really hurt them. But they're having a reality check. It was a wake up call. Now they're starting to have their eyes wide open. Y'all seen that movie Eyes Wide Shut? If you haven't seen it, I suggest you see it, because it was like, wow. Now that I say it, a lot of people's eyes have been wide shut. It's been right in their face, but they didn't even realize what they were looking at. They were looking at, a societal manipulation. Started out in grade school and in elementary, grade school, high school, college, cliques. It started out with the cliques. You never switched up. And you ain't never been a cliquey kind of person. You might have, had ran with some friends back in the days growing up, but then as you saw, you were different from them. They weren't on your path. So they started falling to the side. Like, you just were like, okay, cool. We're not, I still love you. I have respect for you, but we just don't hang like that anymore because you were different. Mm. Yes. Woo! Let's get some of these. Let's see what's going on. And then we're going to wrap this reading up or this message up. But I feel like, yeah, you've never switched up, family. Never. And even during your time where you had experienced trauma, you healed from it. And that's what allowed you to move on because you didn't stay hooked to no trauma. You was like, okay, this happened. Yeah, shit, I told you. You know what? Your ex is so jealous out here. Because they know they was love bombing, okay? That just was there, okay? But I don't know if I'm going to leave them there. I want these to come out. But yeah, somebody out here doesn't like seeing you move on or do better than them. Okay, this could be an ex, a friend, a family, or a foe. But that has been their whole thing. This is the energies out here. People don't like to see other people move on and do better than them. And it's not that you're doing better than them. It's just that you have a higher standard. And I don't mean like you're bougie either. It's like, shit, you know what you deserve. You know what you work hard for. So that's what you look for. And in doing that and in looking for that what you project is what you receive, right? So look, I'd be grateful. I think I was overly grateful today. I shouldn't have been like so bubbly and happy, but I was overly grateful. I was on the phone like, I love you, thank you so much. Like, I'm telling this lady I love her, and I really do, because I love her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's weird. I don't know, family. I'm kind of weird like that. Like, I love everybody because it's just who I am. Until you make me be like, ugh, okay, enough is enough, right? And then it's not that I don't love you, it's just that I'm not gonna be bothered with you, okay? But you got somebody out here, they don't want you to do better than them. It's an ex. It's somebody that, and this ex doesn't have to just be a masculine energy either. It could be an ex friend, family, or a foe. Take it how you know, right? Because this residual feeling that they keep getting is the one that, you ain't never switched up on them, but they know that they switched up on you. They know they switched up on you the minute that they saw that you were either leaving their toxic energy, their toxic ways behind, or you just left them behind and decided to do better for yourself. They saw that. hmm Look, folks going on emotional roller coaster rides right here. Because of the hot and cold, the hot and cold. You've never been hot and cold. You just knew exactly what it was that you wanted. And every single time that they didn't deliver upon it, you just was like, okay, not a problem. Guess what? I don't have to deal with you. Because you never switched up. You stayed solid all the time. It was them that was switching up. It was their hot and cold energy. And their hot and cold energy is just by the way they treated you, talked to you, or whatever else. Once you got off that emotional roller coaster ride, because I'm not saying that you ain't always, that you were perfect. I said that in the beginning. But you had experience. You had put your foot in other people's shoes. You had put your foot in the ex's shoe, and your family member's shoes, and your foe's shoes. And you were like, yeah, there's no excuse for this. It says situations or relationships full of highs and lows. Why? For what? Very intense and rapidly changing emotions, unsteady. You didn't have time for that. You didn't have time for that. And when you withdrew your energy from that, you always were met with that fake apology type thing. It's like, if you gonna really say sorry to me, you say sorry, you mean it. You don't do it again. Because if you do it again, for those of you that know, you cut it off. It doesn't mean that you hate that person or anything. You just know where they're coming from. And so therefore you leave them alone. Okay? Yeah. They know that you healed, but you ain't hooked. I promise you. And that's why you step into this influential connection. This influential connection to me is like, you are very logical. It ain't just about common sense. You're just logical. I feel like a lot of people that have been running around in these groups and these cliques and all that kind of stuff, they're not logical. I don't want to say that, spirit. They have adopted, other people's characteristics, or the way they act, the way they carry themselves, the way they conduct things. And so they hadn't been themselves. Whereas when you faced your truths, you already knew you were different. Now you're going to start meeting people who can help you and help you grow. And I don't mean influential, like influential, hey, common sense ain't so common. They say that, right? But I feel like you're going to be influential from a different perspective, and not one from where you are going to influence authenticity. Just be yourself. It's like that's what you're going to start to influence. You are going to start to influence people just to be themselves. Like, don't put on a show, family. Like, there's a lot of people that be putting on shows, and it's kind of sad because I'm like, don't put on a flipping show for me. Be who you supposed to be. Be yourself. I don't need a show from you because I'm not going to give you a show. I'm going to be who I am, and that is it. Okay? And I feel like a lot of people are going to respect that. They're just going to respect that from you. You're going to start meeting people who can help you grow. Someone will either possibly, and I don't know, take it how it resonates. I don't really feel this energy though. I don't know if you're going to be looking for someone to, lend you a hand or money or a job opportunity. But for those of you who are, that message is there. But I feel like you're just going to be actually connecting with energies that can respect the fact that, you inspire authenticity. You inspire people just being who they are. Because for so long, so many people have been, trying to adapt the life of other folk. And you just don't got to do that. Yeah, look, at the bottom of the deck, after all that shuffling, and this was the card that was at the bottom of the deck in the beginning, okay? Yeah, because there's no show. There's no show when you're not authentic. It's like, I don't want to see the same old type energy. I need different. You need people to be who they truly are. Yeah, empty promises, okay, unreliable, non-committal, vanishing acts, disappointments, burnt bridges. Yeah, that all comes from people not being their authentic self. All right. So I'm going to leave that message here for you, family. I hope it resonates with you. Thank you for tapping in. All right. Let's get ready to close out. I call my power back. I release the weight of the matrix and its betrayal and deception. I stand rooted in my truths. I am whole and I am becoming. And so it is. Ashe. And until next time, you have a magnificent day. Ashe.